really want to be.
Yeah, no done. So who learned something from that, from the tripling exercise?
Mm-hmm.
Who figured out some things? Anything anybody willing to share?
That's where I look at the maximum output we can do a year. So if I want to triple my numbers, I have only one option or two. One
With what you have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's only so many hours in a day.
It goes back to what you want to really accomplish. I mean, what's your real goal? What do you really want to do? Why are you even doing this?
It's a good exercise though, because you definitely think differently when you put the triple.
Yeah, it's like it's like if you were a bank or something. You said, well, I'm gonna have one bank branch. Well, what if you had? How could you have 1,000 branches? What would it take? It's the same. It's the same thing. I think sometimes we think a little too small in business because it actually, in a lot of ways, gets easier once you get to a certain level. It doesn't seem like in the middle. Do what?
Because money's coming in, or
Yeah, you got cash flow. You can make more mistakes. Why do you think everybody thinks corporate's got it worked out, right? In small business and all the corporate guys, they all are like, well, small business has got it worked out. But the only reason corporate can get away with some of the stuff they do is because they got cash flow to cover the stupidity, the mistakes they make. I mean, you've been in corporate. I mean, it's crazy the waste in some of these big corporations. Yeah, I mean, if you've ever,
we can apply that back to. I can apply that through our industry.
yeah, absolutely. The bigger, they can do it. All right, cool, good. All right, so this is what Sean was talking about. Y'all remember the thing? I was tying it into this. So student, employee, self-employed, manager, business owner, investor, entrepreneur. I know all of y'all have seen that. At least the people that are clients. So this is the path of an entrepreneur. This is an entrepreneur's ladder. So, but it all applies. This is the business ladder that goes with the sort of that business owner ladder, if that makes sense. So to be a true business owner, that means you got a commercial profit enterprise that works without the owner. Doesn't have to be there. Doesn't mean he's not. Most of the time they are there, but it could work. It's back to what Smith's goal is. He wants to be gone 3 months, since we've just changed his goal.
see,
Well, his goal wasn't that, a month. I agree with you. Let's figure out how to be gone 6 months. Figure out how to be gone a year.
3 years.
I'm gonna do that in 20.
Well, I had a buddy that took his kids and his wife and went to France for a year.
Yeah.
And his business was still going. I couldn't figure out why he wanted to go there, but that was for him.
His wife
Go,
wanted to
man.
to
That's the
France.
place to
He
go.
didn't.
What's wrong with
If you don't ever go anywhere, go
I'd
to
go to
France. I'm
France.
telling you.
Of course.
I would-
Yeah, and his business, and he came back. Now he's back in the business. He's taken a different role in his own business. He's got multiple businesses, but that's it. The point is that these go together, and I think that that's what with Sean. So if you want to get into more of that, it's all in the. This is actually in this book,
Well, I was
Billionaire in Training.
Cutting up to Tom.
Yeah.
He was sort of the
Do you have this book?
I don't know that I do. I don't think I do.
Y'all can read it. Yeah.
Pointing out to Tom, I mean, he's been there a year, we just had his review, and I'm like, you need to understand, Tom, every one of us is self-employed. Every
Right.
one of us.
Yeah. Everybody is self-employed if you think about it.
Yourself that way, that's what I need him to think about.
Yeah, that's the hard part, is getting a
Well,
employee to think.
No. They are self-employed because if they don't provide a service,
It's a one-day contract, 8 hours.
they don't get to pay. They get paid and they can go home.
Yes.
It's hard to get an employee to think that today. It's hard to get people to think this way, that they have to make wages today. What do I have to do? What do I have to do today?
He pulled out a phrase, what, 2
It's a-
years ago.
It's a deal.
His dad told him, I gotta make wages, I gotta make wages, and that's just a good old country saying.
Well, it's a deal. It's a deal. Like if you hire me, to do a job, then I do the job and you pay me for that job, whatever that job is,
Or 1 hour.
and we're happy to, and it's a fair deal. I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me anything. I give you a good day's work, and you pay me for that work. That's self-employed. I'm self-employed. I hired myself out. I might be with, I might have another job tomorrow.
Prime example, but they're sitting there today without any leadership, and we weren't there when they started off. to start their day off.
So we'll see if they
So
make
I'm
wages.
wondering if it crosses their mind today,
Yeah.
under
Yeah.
self-employment, to make wages.
Correct.
Do you guys have to task them, or are they self-motivated to task themselves if they come in and
They're still in training, so there's multiple phases going on, but essentially they have
Kind
to.
of good at that.
He's told.
Yeah, and that's probably frustrating.
He asked me yesterday, at the end of the day, what it is, you know, if I get the church done, what do I need to do? You know, so he's thinking.
I get really frustrated because I struggle.
All right, hang on. We got too many things going on here at once. We need to get back on task here. All right. But we can take a break and another break and have everybody. Yeah,
But that chart meant a lot to me last week.
Yeah,
and-
good.
And a communication with our buddy Trey and Tom.
yeah.
I made really good hay out of that chart.
Yeah, it's a good concept that pretty much everyone is self-employed. I mean, the people that
I ran
work.
into the car and got my notes from last Friday morning, sitting on the porch trying to explain this to Tom. And every note I took at our meeting last Saturday with Tom and Trey on the porch.
Right.
Taught your class.
Good. Perfect. All right. I want to shift a little bit. Is everybody good with that? I think pretty much everybody's done their goals or has them, and we're going to update them big time in December, but I'll give you another sheet if you want to update them, but we're not going to do that today if you want. Okay? Yeah, I see where you are. Here, just pass them around. Just pass them around. All right, let me go over this. I want to go over this sheet. We're not going to do it today, but for your home fund. Step 1 is your 5-year goal. One of them needs to be a number, like a sales or something. Can you keep passing them around?
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was making a note.
Step 2 is why is it important? Step 3 is your 3-year goal, and step 4 is your 1-year goal. But you've probably got a lot of your 1-year goals already made up based on your thing. I really want to get down to the 90s. I'm not going to make us go through those today and fill them out because I want to get into referrals if we have time. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you should have one from last year anyway. Yeah. That probably needs to be updated, but that's okay. So your home fund is to work on the updating your goals. Cool? Okay? All right, because I do want to get into referrals and talking about referrals. And who wants more referrals? Who thinks referrals are good? Yeah. Why are referrals good? Why do we want more referrals? Why should it be a core strategy for all of us?
It's where the best clients come from.
The very best clients come from referrals. Like, for example, frankly, you know, when I sat down and said, all right, what do I want for my ideal client? I was like, well, I want guys like y'all. I mean, essentially, it's pretty simple. People like you are good clients. You know, help me get more of them. It's the same with your best clients. People like you are your best clients. Help me get more.
It's your best advertising.
Yeah.
I've already told you that girl is chewing gum really hard.
Yeah. I don't know what. Yeah. It's a great referral. It's a great referral. Yeah, Sean just gave me a referral. Thank you, by the way. That's one thing you should always do with referrals. Is figure out a way to thank you. So I'm gonna go through it. I want to back up a minute. I want to talk a little bit about the law of attraction. Who knows what the law of attraction is? Who doesn't know what the law of attraction is?
So what the law of attraction means success? You need to look successful to attract people?
No.
No?
The law of attraction. Who thinks they know what it is? Yeah.
Really, I do.
Katie, hold on. Yeah. Okay. So this is some home fun too. But I'm going to go into it briefly what it is. There's a, Katie, can you remind me? I'll send you guys a book on the law of attraction. I'll just order a bunch of them and send them to all my clients. Everybody needs it. Okay. Okay, so the law of attraction basically says that whatever you put out in the universe, you get back.
Yes.
Whether positive or negative. Whatever you put out in the universe comes back to you, whether positive or negative. So you're always putting out vibes. Everybody knows the term vibe. Have you ever walked into a room and known that there was a weird vibe in there or a funny, or have you ever, somebody walked in a room and it was like a negative? You felt like the oxygen had been sucked out of the room? So what's the vibe is short for what?
Vibration.
Vibration. So we're all creating vibrations all the time. And this is science, right? I mean, essentially, atoms are vibrating, right? All the time. So we're vibrating all the time. So we're putting out vibrations in the universe, okay? And I think we all know this, right? You know, if you how many times have you been a positive person and somebody got somebody just fired up? You know, who's done that?
When I do the
Yeah.
opposite, I come
Yeah.
tore up.
Yeah. Who's come in and realized you were negative and brought down the room? You know? Yeah, we've all done that. I mean, who's had a great day and somebody, you know, your spouse or your kids or somebody come home and they've had a horrible day. And it just, you know, and all of a sudden they just unload all this stuff and you're going, pow, right?
Yeah.
So the results of what we attract. So this is happening all the time. It's a law. So it happens all the time, whether we want it to or not. Okay? So it's whether positive or negative. It's happening right now. The law of attraction is happening now and now and now and now and now. Okay? To all of us. So it starts with the vibrations, and part of it, which vibrations come from our thoughts, eventually come from our ideas and thoughts, and eventually get into our words, which is where languaging is hugely important in this. So one of the ways, we've talked about the reticular activating system. Who remembers about the RAS, the reticular activating system? No one? I got work to do. Okay. So the reticular activating system is a piece in our brain. You can look it up. And it's sort of like the traffic cop. It's about the size of it's about the shape of a quarter of an apple, and it's about the size of a quarter of an apple. Who's ever gone to a new place, stayed with people, and there was a train or an airplane or something coming over, a creaky something, and it kept you up all night? Who's ever done that? Everybody? Pretty much. You've gone to somewhere new and there was a noise or something that did it. Now, and it drove you crazy. Couldn't sleep. And you went downstairs the next morning and you said, I can't believe you can sleep with all that racket. And they're like, what racket?
It's like my cousin Vinny.
Okay. Yeah. That's a great one. My cousin Vinny, if you've ever seen that, where they're in the hotel and the guy's like, well, it's like, what racket? The train's coming by, keep them up. They're like, what racket? Well, so this goes back to sort of our caveman times, in that the brain is trying to decide if that noise is a danger or not. Okay, does this make sense? Because if it was a danger to the tribe or the family, then you would want to protect yourself. You would want to be awake for it. Okay, so it's sort of the traffic cop that says this is dangerous or this is not dangerous. Okay, is this you can read up on it. It's anyway. So the interesting thing about the reticular activating system is it doesn't understand negative. Okay, so let's take, so my wife calls me up and says, Bill, on the way home, don't forget to get the bread. What am I going to do? Forget to get the bread, because it doesn't hear the don't. I'll give you another example. Here's the positive example. How many of you have bought a car and then all of a sudden you start seeing the same car around everywhere? Like you buy a red Volkswagen or something and you can see 100 red Volkswagens. Everybody, the reticular activating system got in on that car. It's focused on that car. Does you follow me? Okay, so you can use this to help you achieve your goals in a positive way, or it can derail you in a negative way. Okay, you got to be careful with that. So I'll give you another example. Here's what I want you to do. We'll do a little exercise. All right, so I want you to concentrate hard. This just takes concentration. So I want you to not think about pink striped elephants. Can't do it. You got some weird striped Dumbo out there in your brain, right? Because it didn't hear the not. Doesn't hear the not. So what we need to do is eliminate those words. No, not, and don't. And if you want to throw in can't or any contraction that's got not in it, that's fine. But no, not, and don't. If you'll eliminate those words from your vocabulary, then you'll start getting more of what you want. Have you ever heard of somebody say or ever felt like, hey, I'm on a roll?
Yeah.
Okay? Because something positive happened, and therefore more positive stuff started happening, that's the law of attraction on a positive note. But you've also been on a negative roll too, where I just had a crummy day, right? The more of that you put out in the universe, the more. So you can be intentional about these things. I'm giving you the real 30,000 foot view here, okay? The point is that you can be very intentional about using this law of attraction to attract the clients, the people, the team, even the spouses that you want. Okay, that you can do this stuff. You can use it to your advantage. Does this make sense? This is not any, and I'm not. I think most of y'all know I'm a fairly religious guy, so this doesn't go against any of the principles. This is just what I've seen out there. So if I don't want to have anybody have that come between us and all. So one of the ways to use this is to figure out. We want to spend our time focusing on the positive, but it's okay to go into the negative a little bit to figure out what we don't want, and then flip it to put it in a way we don't want. So somebody said to me, it might have been one of y'all today, don't forget to do something. And I said, so we need to shift that to remember. Remember to get the bread. Remember to, and I think you'll mostly hear me say, I'll say, Katie, remember to, because I've gotten myself into the habit. So you want to catch yourself with those no, nots, and don'ts. Just eliminate them, much as we can from our vocabulary.
Hugely with children.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
The best thing is if you're at the pool and you hear the lifeguard telling kids don't run. If they just say walk, the kids would get it.
Yes.
I mean, it's just.
Yeah, or don't.
You can
instead of saying don't jump on the bed, you can say, please come down here and I'll give you a prize.
That's just to them.
And it'll be the Darth Vader outfit. But you can use it positively. And because their brain is just like our brain, we do not hear it. Okay, we hear what we want it, what comes through. So, and some of you, if you really want to get deep into this, it all ties in with NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. That's about the languaging we use, and a little bit of there's some kinesthetic stuff to it that if you really want to get into it. But it's very powerful for influencing. Influencing people. But it's more about attracting the people you want into your life. I mean, you can attract deals right into your life if you focus on that enough. Because what is your brain really? The reason I think it works is because you're focusing on it. And so if you're focusing on the right things, then all of a sudden your brain is going, well, if you do, it's sort of like the exercise we did there. I said triple it. Focus on that. How can we do that? All of a sudden your brain goes, bam. If we do these three things, this is likely to happen. Does that make sense? Okay. So we're going to do the ideal client exercise again. Most of you have done it. But we're going to do it again. We're going to make sure that we've got it. So I just want you to get a piece of paper and draw this out just like that. Put a big T on it. And you can do this for your ideal anything. The number one rule in getting good referrals is understanding who you want to be your client. Okay? And Andy and I did this not long ago. But so put the T in there, ideal client. On this side, I want you to write down everything you don't want in a client. All the negative stuff. A whiner, somebody who's going to bug me all the time. This is what we don't want. I want you to spend the next 5 minutes doing that. Everything you don't want. Okay? On the left side. Go. Shoot. Your ideal clients are? Yeah? Who's got it? Make sure it's positive. Because I want you to put it on a sheet of paper by itself and put it somewhere where you can. I want you to hang it up in your office. I want you to be able to write it up and hand it to people that could give you referrals. This is who I'm looking for. Does that make sense?
Ultimately, people are coming to all of us as a business owner for one of two reasons. Either A, they are coming to us because we've got something that they know that they need and they want and they respect, or they're coming to us to get us to do something that they're trying to get us to do it their way. There's two paths. Like Gus is coming trying to tell us how to do what we do. The best clients are coming to us going, tell me what I need to do.
Yeah, so what you may not want is a client who comes in and thinks he knows it all. What you may want is a client that trusts us to do our job and
It lets us do our job.
I think there's for us, what is critical to get an ideal client is that they need to be educated in what we do, and they need to have matched us up by personality and by skill set, and believe in that. That gives us a really good client usually. If we've had to chase a client and steal it from another architect, we may not have matched the personality.
Yeah, we don't do
And
that either.
that is critical.
All right.
If we've not matched the personality, then it's a struggle.
If they hired us and they have not talked to anyone else, that is never a good client.
Yeah. Right.
How do they know how to compare us?
Right.
Eventually, at some point in the process, they're gonna wonder if we charged them too much. Should they have researched us?
Right. Yeah, well, you need to, you learn these things after a while. What do you have? So I want you to make that list. I want you to get that list and get it out and start sharing it with the world in a positive way so that people start bringing you referrals. And then what you have to do is that people who bring you a referral, you have to give them feedback. That was a good referral because. That was not a good referral because.
Yes.
Or it could have, here, whatever. You have to give them feedback or feed forward, if you want to call it that, to look at it. So I want you to think about your last few clients or clients you got now, and I want you to rate them. So your A is your A grade clients, right? Your A grade clients, there's usually a line right about here. Okay? So A grade. Your B grade are your standard, good, solid clients. They may not be exactly A grade, but they're your basic clients. They're your basic clients. Okay? Your C's you can't deal with. And your D's are dead.
So is this a list of them on here?
Yeah, just go through your client, just sort of get in your head who the people are that you've dealt with, or maybe prospects. It could be prospects too.
You mean dead, like fire, get rid of them?
Dead.
Dead, not clients anymore.
Yeah, if you have repeat business, then the dead clients are the ones probably that you need to get. They need to go. The C's either need to go or they need to become basic. So they need a rule change. They need a rule. They need to understand the rules.
That's the problem.
So, yeah, if you have these people right here need to be repositioned. So they need to get a letter or a meeting with you that says, you know what, we've reviewed it, and here's who we think, and if you want to play by our rules, great. If you don't, then I've got 3 or 4 other people that would probably like to have your business. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go to what you did. You had a bunch of people that would come to you. Yeah.
She's even buying them.
Yeah. So just look through, because it helps to know like who's really in that ideal client. You know, who's really these A graders. You know, and B's are, generally B's might not be, they're good clients, but they might not be as big, or might be something a little bit weird about them. Their house.
Naming the actual client,
Well, just try to get an idea. You can, yeah.
like which out of our client list.
Yeah, out of your past clients. I would do all your current clients now, and then do your past. Then maybe go do a couple past clients.
I guess there should be subcategories
Yeah.
in here where they're needed.
Yeah, it just helps you understand a little bit better who your clients are. Because who do you want to ask for referrals?
The clients, the good clients.
Who do you want to ask for referrals on this list?
A's and B's.
A and B.
Well, what happens when you have a C
Levine.
provide you referrals,
Levine
but
was
they
there.
won't pay you?
Then they're not. You don't want any of their. They won't pay you, they won't pay you. I
Well,
mean,
they paid you, but they don't pay you like they should pay you. But then they'll like refer you all the time.
Well, are they-
Their payment.
here's a rule to think about. Birds of a feather flock together. C's hang with C's.
Yep.
They're probably referring you more C's. If they're referring you A's, then that's,
My thing is like I have this client and he's like, he hasn't done business with me yet, but I've met with him way more than I should have.
then he's not a
But
client.
he keeps sending me clients as if he's pushing penguins off the cliff to see how I do, and I'm the seal. That's what I.
Well, he's sending you a bunch of C grade clients then.
Well, there's one client he sent me. She's great.
Well, good. Help work with her and forget about him. And good, go get some clients from her.
I just feel
You,
like
you can take referrals from B, but if you really want your ideal clients, guess who they hang out with? Other people like them. Remember what I just said to y'all? You know, I didn't invite but a half a dozen people here today. There's a reason. Okay? I want more people like you.
Oh, thanks.
Does that make sense?
Well, I made you an A client.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. So just look through your list and figure out, you know, who and why.
Yeah.
That's the next step.
Oh, yeah.
So, in building out your referral plan, strategies and tactics,
Great guy.
Plus you did referrals.
Oh, yeah, totally.
we're gonna go ahead and jump in if that's all right with y'all. We're gonna jump into this. I want you to. This is where we do a little work that's sort of out there and brainstorming in ourselves. If you know who your ideal clients are, basically, great, and you know who you've had in the past and who you haven't. What's your referral strategy for? By the way, you can do this with your strategic partners too, right? I mean, where else can you get referrals besides from clients?
Other network colleagues.
Colleagues, friends, people, employees, strategic partners. Great. Guess what? You can, by the way, when you do this exercise, when you're looking for an employee,
That's the same, yeah.
team member, ideal team member. Do the same exercise. When you're looking for the job, not for the, who do you want for this specific position?
Yeah, not just for the project.
Ideal deal, ideal whatever.
Ideal project.
Yeah. What does it look like? Ideal, whatever. You can do this exercise on anything for whatever your ideal is. Anything.
What is can't deal again?
Okay.
What is can't deal?
All right. So
Like we can't deal. I can't deal with them, or they can't deal with reality,
could, yeah, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
or all the above.
It's really you can't deal with them for whatever reason. They don't want to play by your rules. Okay? So they may have, so they come to you and let's say it's perfect job for you, new construction, everything. These are my rules. This is how we do business, essentially. I mean, we're not saying that, but we're saying, well, we are saying it. We may not say it to them that way. We say, look, here's how we go about it. Here's our process. Here's our process, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, they want to run an end run around your process. Well, they're in the can't deal.
We like all of that except for this piece.
Yeah, and they're like, well,
Don't want to pay your invoices when you need them.
that's, if they don't pay you,
You're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
gotta go. Gotta go. You don't pay on time, out. Gotta go. Okay? There's no, you can't make money if people don't pay you on time.
Well, I have clients who want to pay at the end of the job, but I put forth a lot of effort beforehand, and I have a structure, and they don't want to follow.
It's not your rules, fine, don't take them. You know?
If they fall out of that.
Yeah.
cut them off.
If you're not getting the right kind of clients, go back to who you're attracting. Look at what you're saying. Look at who you're talking to. Look at your own languaging. If you're negative, you're going to get more of the crap that you know that's coming in. You look at what's coming in. Don't be. Sometimes we don't hear what we're doing to ourselves. Look at what you're getting and saying, "Hold on, I'm not getting what I want. I need to change something. I need to attract a different kind of thing. And I starts with my brain, and then it comes with our words. You got to work on your languaging. Because the self-talk will do it every time. I think everybody here is mostly positive. But we do get in funks. When that happens, we attract more funks. Okay? So can't deal is usually somebody who, doesn't trying to run an end run around your rules, or maybe pays too slow. They're paying you, but they want to pay in, 60 days or something. You say, hey, we can't deal with that. We really liked you. We appreciate your business. Boom, change or not. All right, so we're going to work on. So just do a little brainstorming. Get out a blank piece of paper and start brainstorming. Like, how could you, for your referral strategy, what would you like to do? What would you have to do to get more referrals? What would you have to do to get more referrals in your business? What strategies do you believe would work?
Make more happy customers.
Good. Start there. That's number one. Write it down.
More fun.
Yep. That's number one. Make more happy customers. But who else could give you referrals? What do you need to do with the architects? What do you need to do with, you have a solid network of people. How could you let them know who your ideal clients are and who's not your ideal client? Yeah. What are some ways that you could do that? Yeah, how would you tell them? How would you make it real for them? What kind of strategies could you put in place?
I'm over here looking at a blank piece of paper. I'd like to hear everybody's answers.
Well,
Gifts and rewards.
yeah, how can we thank them? What kind of rewards do we need? Would it be useful for you to understand how maybe a referral strategy would work? Would that be useful to get the brain going? Would that be useful for everybody? Okay.
Ask for the referral.
There you go. That's number one. All right. So this is a referral strategy.
That just me handing that out is.
Well, I'm going to go through it, and you will understand what it is, and I'm going to point out a lot of stuff about this. Whoops, sorry. Here, let me have those. Did that come out of yours or mine? Did that come out of yours or this one? Okay. All right. So, all right. I want to point out some stuff about, what do you notice about this?
Fancy.
First of all.
It's got a good preparation to it.
Okay. What else do you notice?
There's a business card.
You gave us the ability to get you referrals
It also provides an impression.
with
Right.
these gift certificates.
Yeah. And I want,
Easy.
And we can hand them to our friends.
perfect.
But you also gave a book so we could get referrals.
Correct.
I get a new book to read.
Correct. By the way, there's something called the, does anybody, does any,
Session,
It's
2
been
hours.
Did you write this, Bill? No.
no, yeah. I have them sit, okay. I want to, do you think this was hard to do?
No, I think it took a little bit of prep, but
Okay.
not
All right.
necessarily, yeah.
And I want you to know it's not perfect. Because I got these done in a hurry and I screwed up the phone number.
Uh-oh.
Okay? But because I had to get you something, done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to get you new ones that have the right phone number on it next week. But right now, I'd rather have, is it more important for me to have something in your hand that you could hand to somebody else?
Yeah.
Okay? All right. So what else do you notice about this?
I like
It's informative.
the design is clean. As a design person, I'm super judgy, so if you hand me something that was janky, I would know and I wouldn't appreciate it as much.
Good. That's good, but I want to, yeah. So, all right. So there's a lot of stuff. This is dead easy. Okay? So this is dead easy. So, right. So,
It's very affirmative too.
okay. So I've got a letter in here that explains the program. Okay? The program's pretty simple. I like you guys, I want more of you. Okay? So the program is, you hand these out, and for everyone that actually meets with me, you get $50 in a gift certificate. Who's gotten one of those from me before? Some of you have, I know you have, I think all of you have. Right? When you referred somebody to me. If they actually sign up for something, then you get $100. Okay? Do it, take your spouse out to dinner. Okay? It's pretty simple. Is it easier to just hand somebody this than to say, hey, you need to call this guy? Than to say, hey, I think you'd really enjoy it? Okay? So, the other thing, this is a great book for all of you. Okay? It's got the ideal client stuff in it first, the ABCD. It starts out with that. It's got 12 or 15 other strategies. Some of them will be useful for you, some of them won't be useful for you. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is a new thing we're working on. It's a whole bunch of stuff about what I do to help you. If people say, well, what does he do? Well, he's a coach. He works with teams. He helps people buy and sell businesses. It's pretty easy, right? All right. So y'all need to understand that I had all this stuff just sitting around. It's not doing me any good. I mean, the BFO for me was, should have had one of these in your hands 2 years ago. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. So the elements are, who's heard of the law of reciprocity? You may have heard of that?
No.
Okay. That basically says that if you give something to someone, they feel like they have to give you something back. So have you ever been invited out to dinner and they say, well, I need to have them over?
Okay.
Right?
You say pay it forward.
Right. So by giving your clients something other than great service, you make it easy for them to refer you. That's what you just said. Make it easy. That's easy. Take these cards, give them out. It's easy. Give them to all your friends. And I'll just tell you, give them to people like you. Give them to suppliers. Give them to anybody who's in business, friends, anybody who could use a pep talk. Anybody could use any of that stuff. All right. Does that help now? Does that get the juices going, flowing a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So what could you do in your business that would make it easy for people to refer you and get you the right clients? What do you need to tell them? See, what does my letter say?
You need to be an A grade yourself.
It says right in here, you see, for several years we've been looking for the characteristics of A-grade clients and strategic alliances so we can better communicate. That has been a really difficult task because there appears to be no link between age, gender, experience, education, and clients. There's no correlation between business size type. What we do know, have an attitude of determination and commitment along with a willingness to learn.